I'm taking a shot with a first-time starter. Good, decent work pattern, nothing extraordinary, but I mean, 3 back on January 4th, went 5 furlongs, 101 in 1. Pretty good breeze. That was a 5th of 37 that day. And another thing I liked, Chip Brownfield has some riders that he exclusively rides. They are Kevin Jimenez and Eddie Zuniga. And all of a sudden I pick up the program and I see Rodney Prescott, who's one of our top riders here, on a debuting horse for Chip Brownfield. To me, horse has to run. 8-1 on the morning line, currently taking action. That's my top pick in the race. For second, number 3, Wallet. This one was claimed 2 back for $7,500. Ran back for the 15 level, went off 4.5-1, showed speed and faded. What I like, that race under it, turns back to the 6.5. The horse is going to be tight, takes a drop in class, comes from a good barn, owned by Mark Adams, LA Racing Incorporated. Wallet, my second choice in behind that debuting Pinkman. Now for third, number 9, Post Impressionist. This is another one coming from the Marshall Godsey barn, and this one for owner Meran Motamedi. Leandro Gonsalves rides his 5-year-old son, a painter. Now he's raced just 8 times in his 5-year-old campaign. Now this one, last start was 5th, beating 11 lengths for the $10,000 level at Churchill. Now that was back in May of this year, last year, hasn't raced since then, but was keeping good company, kind of consistent, was running some decent numbers, and I think that one has a shot too at 7-2. Race number 1, start of that 50-cent pick 5 with just 15% takeout. I'm going 5-3-9 in the opener. Now the second race is a claimant event for the fillies and mares to go 6.5 furlongs. It starts the 50-cent early pick 4, just 14% takeout on our pick 4s, and we've been getting sizable pools on these on Thursday night. They've been hovering somewhere between $50,000 and $60,000 every Thursday, and race number 2 kicks that off again, just 14% takeout on those. And in this race, I'm going to go for number 9, Trickazar, at 10-1 on the morning line as my top pick. Now this is a 5-year-old mare racing for TK Stables, Ray Hernandez, hitting at a very high percentage at this meet. I think he's somewhere around 45% in the win column. And this one shows speed and faded at Remington back in October and Halloween, but changes scenery, makes a drop in class, and if that horse can revert back to the form in the early part of 2019, I think she'll easily dispatch of this field. I'm going for a price horse here in race number 2. Now, I'll have to use number 2, War Eagles Love, as well. This one is drawn toward the inside at the 6.5 furlong distance, but was a winner 2 back here for the $5,000 level. That was a conditional claimer, same race that she's in today. She skipped a condition when she won that race, and she did it well, rallying from off the pace. She was 4th, a couple lengths off those leaders, and I think she'll get a similar setup. Now, last start she changed her tactics, and she made a move a little earlier, and she wasn't able to hang on. So on the turn back, the horse has never won at the distance, but is a winner here over the local surface, and I'm going 9-2. And then for third, I'm going to use number 3 in here, and number 3 is Classy Scarlet. This one is a 30-1 long shot on the morning line, coming from the barn of Mike Blake. Now this one hasn't raced since October 1, racing up north in Fort Erie, but this horse is 14 for 33 in the money, 3-time winner, has yet to win on the synthetic, but she's right there. And the reason I'm throwing her in here at a big price, the trainer's a very capable trainer, and the horse is going to get a perfect pace setup. There's a ton of speed in here. I think there's going to be a big meltdown. That's why I just thought number 9 would come running, Trickazar. And Classy Scarlet, I think, is one will be rallying from off the pace, and I think she can come pick up the pieces here with Fanny Cruzas. Now the third race from Turfway starts the single 6. There is a carryover in the single 6 of, I believe, just shy of $2,500. In fact, yeah, just shy of $2,500. It's a 20-cent base bet, and it starts here in race number 3 with no changes. Third race, it's a non-315 claimer to go a route distance of 1 mile and 1/16, and the heavy favorite is to the outside, number 8, Evil Eye, at 8-5, and deservedly so. He's a 4-year-old son of Magician who hasn't raced since December 13th back at Fairgrounds. Did show a little bit of early lick, was just about 3 lengths off the lead, ended up finishing 5th, beating 5.5 lengths. That was for 30 level. That's much tougher than this race today. But prior to that, the horse ran in a stake race, and when the horse won its second lifetime race, that was at Ellis Park, and ran a very good race in a very, very deep field down there at Ellis back on August 17th. Those races were on the turf, making the poly debut, but comes from a good barn, great owners, great trainer, and a good jockey up top. On the class drop, Evil Eyes at 8-5 gets my top nod. Now, For second, number 4, Fine Tune. This one comes from a good barn for good connections. Sierra Farm of Sharon Houdon and Myler Ryder. Myler Ryder, very good trainer, sends this 4-year-old on an elusive quality out. Now this is another one making a class drop. Race back here in a first level allowance race, but that was an optional $25,000 race. So there was multiple winners. Horse that won multiple races in there, including the Terrazzo, that winner that day, who was on a couple race win streak for the Maker Barn. And Frankie and Jimmy was a pretty decent horse from the Lepresti stable. So this one's been keeping good company. Was a winner back in January at Tampa of 2019, rallied from off the pace, and I think this one will get a good setup to come closing with that late running style, but I don't think should be too far off the pace. Maybe just a couple of lengths off of the lead. Fine Tune 4-1 in race number 3 is my second choice. Now for third, number 2, Witch Doctor. This one hasn't raced since March 8th of last year, the day before the Ruby Stakes. Raced here in a 15 non-2 claimant event and was a winner. A winner with Perry Utes that day. Rodney Prescott up top today. And Ben shows a good series of works here. Kim Hammond will have this one ready off the shelf. Witch Doctor 7-2, making that first start in about 10 months. My third choice in the start of the single 6. Onward to race number 4. It's a filly and mare non-2 claimer, $7,500 claimant event to go 6.5 furlongs. And in the fourth race, I believe there are 2 scratches. The 2 and 10 are out of here. I'm going to go for number 8, Social Circle, as my top pick. Gennaro Garcia, currently hitting at, I think, 40% in the win column here. And this one was 4th, beaten 11 lengths last start with the bug boy Padron. Gets the apprentice Ramos, who has a hot hand right now. He's bringing in horses and winners every single night here at the track. I think he's 2nd or 3rd leading rider. And this is the daughter of Stay Thirsty, who first off that claim ran for the Garcia barn. Kind of made a middle move and then stalled, but that was a pretty solid field. And the horse did overcome a lot. That horse had a compromised beginning. And I think on the class drop with the second start here in the Garcia barn, I think Social Circle has a huge chance at 3-1. I almost singled the horse, but Social Circle, could be a little bit vulnerable. And I'm going to go for number 9, Viva Perlay. See, I think both of these two need a good solid pace setup, and there's not just an abundance of speed, so I'm going to spread just a little bit. And number 9, Viva Perlay. Sunayone gets the return call. This one hasn't raced since September 21st over at Belterra, where she was second, and makes the class drop, but 75 here is like a 15 there, so kind of the same kind of horses, but this one is my second choice at 5-1. For third, number 3, Honey Shack, 12-1 long shot, and trainer Michael Evans has hit here at the meeting with a long shot a couple of weeks ago. He's 1 win from 3 starts here in Honey Shack. Another one hasn't raced since Belterra, but the numbers fit in here. The horse is 3 for 12 in the money, 1 win lifetime. Only raced 1 time here over the surface. That was a straight maiden in a loaded field, but much softer competition today. Honey Shack, I'd look for this one to move forward. I think this is maybe a setup race for bigger things to come, because this horse I think is more suitable. Even though she's a winner at the distance, I think she wants more ground ultimately. So 6.5 furlongs may not be her lick, but I think she's good enough to run into the money in here in behind the 8 and 9. So race number 4, I'm going to go 8, 9, and 3. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a pause for the cause, and we ask that you please rise as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into Turfway Park. We have a wonderful Thursday evening of racing planned for you here this evening. First post is 6:15. That's in 27 minutes. 8 races on the card. The poly track is fast at this time. If you'll take out your racing programs, I'll give you tonight's late program changes. First race, start of the pick 5. There is a scratch at number 6, Tormenta Gatto. Number 6, Tormenta Gatto has been scratched. In the second race, ownership correction on the 7, Pulled the Goalie. That should be Elliott Sullivan. Elliott Sullivan will be the owner and trainer of the 7. Scratch the 13, Lady Furbine. Number 13 in race 2 has been scratched. Race number 3 starts the single 6 jackpot wager. There's a carryover of $2,487 in that wager. In the third race, start of the single 6, no changes as we head into the fourth race. Fourth race, we have a pair of scratches. Take out number 2, Ruby's Memory, and scratch number 10, Fire Command. Fourth race, scratch numbers 2 and 10. Fifth race starts the late pick 4, just 14% takeout on that pick 4, and take out the 13 and 14. The also eligible, scratch number 13, Daisy Jane, scratch number 14, Sway to go. In the sixth race, scratch number 4, Appealing Future. Sixth race, number 4, Appealing Future has been scratched. Seventh race, several changes in race 7. In fact, there are 4 scratches. Scratch number 1, Warrior's Way. Scratch number 6, Midnight Sway. Scratch number 8, Melissa Jane. Scratch number 10, Sea Dream. Seventh race, take out 1, 6, 8, 10. Eighth and final with the high 5, a carryover of $494. 4 scratches in there as well. Scratch number 4, Brought. Scratch the 9, Red, Blue, and True. And scratch the AEs, also eligible, 13, Dujack, and number 14, Private Spot. So 8th race, 4, 9, 13, 14, all stayed home. Well, race fans, those are the changes at this time. Any changes coming in throughout the balance of the program, I'll get those to you as they do so. First race in 24 minutes. Polytrack is fast. Race 1 starts at pick 5. Good luck. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We take a look into the back half of the card. We got through the first 4 races prior to the nation's anthem and the changes, and now we'll take a look into the final 4, including that 50-cent late pick 4 here at Turfway. Race number 5 to kick it off. It's a race we speak all the time here at the track. You want to be right in, and that's the 5th race. That's the race that ends the early pick 5 and 4, starts the late pick 4, and this is a very, very good race to have in that sequence. It's a maiden filly 3-year-old special weight. Goes for a big purse, $46,000 to go 6 furlongs. Now, in the 5th race, there are scratches in there of the also eligibles. Again, 5th race, the 13 and 14 are out. Now, I think it's a spread race, but I don't think you have to spread very deep. Obviously, number 4, Tickle, is a horse I'm going to use. Now, number 1, Fashion Code, is the morning line favorite. I'm throwing the horse out. Horse comes from a good barn, good connection. She's royally bred. She took action as the favorite on debut, but she's in the wall now. I'm going to play against her because of the post position. I do think she'll move forward off that debut race, but if she was to the outside, I probably would use her. I'm going to play against. Now, in this race, I was in between the 4 and the 8. I'm going to use the 8, Gold Stormin' Girl, on top. This one was second last start to a very good horse from Paulo Lobo's barn, Ojo de Mel. Now this one was second, fast closing second from the backfield, beaten just a link that day, and Gold Stormin' Girl 6-1. I went for a price play on top. I'm not going to single. I am going to spread in here. I will use number 4, Tickle. Now, this sophomore daughter is by Distorted Humor out of an Arch mare. Comes from a good barn. Great owners, Adele Dale Snyder and the Claiborne Farm. Ben Colebrook starting to heat up at the meet. He and Alvin Jimenez teaming up here for several wins in the past couple of weeks. And Tickle, I think she's in a good spot to get her maiden broke too tonight. She's the one that rallied from off the pace, and last start kind of made a little early move and couldn't sustain that big wide bend. Now Tickle is 7-2 on the morning line. I think she'll move forward, and she gets the leading jockey tonight. My second choice. Now also in there, I'm going to use, in addition to those, I will add the 5 Never Know Christie. Take a look at those works. We'll talk about her later. But for third, number 11, Sarah Smile a While, 15-1 now. Ray Hernandez, we've spoke on him all the time at the meeting. He hits at a very high percentage with debut runners as well. His go-to rider is Abel Lascano, but as far as these horses' work pattern, I think Abel Lascano is on the lesser of the two. Sarah Smile While shows a really good work pattern down at the training center. And been noticing a trend with Ray Hernandez on these 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds now that he likes. When those horses work 5 furlongs, he comes back and works them 3 furlongs. He's putting speed into them, and that means they're ready. She's got a good work pattern. She's going to break sharp. She gets a breaking weight. She's going to be a big price. She's 15-1 on the morning line. May get overlooked there, so I wanted to add some value in that pick 4. And then again, I'll also add the 5 Never Know Christie. Doug Cowan sends this one out. She's a daughter of Summerfront out of an Invasor mare. Great work pattern right here over the surface. I like to see horses working over the surface. They seem to get over it in the mornings very well. It translates to the evening. Now, back on December 29th, she worked 6 furlongs, 14-2. That's a very rapid time. Came back, followed it with a bullet drill on January 7th, 5 furlongs, minute and 3. Then came back once again, bulleted on January 15th, the first of 6 that day, 101-4, and then he slowed her down a little bit. She went a half, 49-4, back on January 3rd in preparation for this race. A week ago work. Never Know Christie comes from a good barn. She's good bred and has a good jockey in Rodney Prescott. I'm spreading out in race 5. I'm going 4, 5, 8, 11 in that pick 4. Now, race number 6, it's a claimant event, a 8 down to 7 claimant event to go 6 furlongs. And in this race, I'm going to go to the far outside with a long shot again. At 10-1, I'm going to use number 11, Old Timers Day. Comes from the barn of Billy Stinson. Claimed this one last start for Kim and Billy Joe Parker. This one rallied from off the pace and was second, beating the length. Now, that was for the 5 level. However, a horse that loves Turfway Park, Bresno from the Cahill barn, ran by him late. Now, this one is a 3-time winner from 7 starts. So the horse has some consistency to his form. Goes from Jeffrey Metz to Billy Stinson. I think it's maybe a lateral move, but Billy Stinson is a very good trainer. But the reason I like this horse, well drawn to the outside here at the 6 furlong distance, and the race is loaded with speed. I think the horse is going to be able to stalk to the outside in the clear, and when Malcolm calls on Old Timers Day, I think it's his day to get his 4th lifetime victory at the odds of 10-1. Now for second, number 9, Chief Host, I don't know what to make of this horse. This horse hasn't raced in September from Belterra, although I do know the horse is 20% win, 5 wins from 25 starts. Comes from a good barn. Tommy Drury knows how to get one ready off of the shelf. I don't see any works on the program. I'm sure there'll be some late unpublished workouts announced here when I get upstairs, but number 9, Chief Host, it will show some speed, makes a class drop, never raced on the poly, but like I said, good connections. Horse has some back class, and on the class drop, I think you got to use the horse. Now for third, I'm going to go for number 1, Cairn. Cairn exploded through the stretch last start when winning off the shelf for Don Horrell and Joe Davis. Won by 2 3/4 lengths going away. Now the horse done it very, very impressively, very easy. Had a big, strong gallop out, and I liked it that day. My only knock, the horse is drawn to the inside. But this horse has a late kick that the inside doesn't bother me with this one. I thought maybe last start the horse would need more ground, but the way he did it and ran into those fractions, of course it was fast fractions. They went that first quarter in 21 and change today. I don't think we have that type of speed. I do think we have some speed in here, but I don't think we'll see any 21 and 4s and 45 flats. But Cairn, I think, will allow the speed to go, settle back, make that big, wide stretch run that De Leon likes to make, and he's a strong stretch rider, and I think Cairn will be rolling at the end. I'm going to use the horse for third at a decent price. Race number 6, 11-9-1 for me. Seventh race was a good field a couple of days ago when I picked up the program to handicap this race, but when I came in tonight, I noticed there are several changes. There's 4 scratches in here, the 1, 6, 8, 10. So from 11 horse field down to 7, I think a couple of horses that had a chance did scratch. So I think Go Nunny Go is a complete standout. Go Nunny Go is a 5-year-old mare by Get Stormy. She's raced 1 time here at Turfway, and she was a winner. She just crushed the field back in the Bourbonnais Oaks here. Went in that Grade 3 event back in March of 18. Tyler Gaffleon was up that night. Rafael Hernandez has the call for Kirk Wyckoff's 3 Diamonds Farm. And this filly, I think she's in a good spot to get her 4th lifetime win. Now, she is lightly raced, just 18 starts, but she's 50% in the money. She's undefeated here at the track, and she's versatile sort. She can go to the lead. I don't think she has to be on the lead, obviously. She can come from off the pace, but in this field, I think with that inside draw, Raphael will be able to put her wherever she wants, and wherever she gets in a nice, comfortable cruising position, I think when he squeezes the button on her and tells her it's time to go, I think Go Nunny Go runs away in a rout here in race 7. Number 5, Rogue 2 is one that I'll use underneath, and there's a lot of upside to her. If you want to try to beat the favorite, this is maybe the horse you can try to use. I can see why you'd use a horse. She's ran at Turfway 6 times. She has 5 wins. Now, Doug Daner has a couple other mares in his barn that he does that with as well, but this one's owned by Andrew Jansen, and Rogue 2 is the daughter of First Dude, currently riding a 3-race win streak. 2 back here, she blew up the tote board at 90-1 in a first level optional 25 allowance race, came back in a 2X optional 40, was overlooked again, but only about 8.5-1 that day, and rallied off to win there. Rogue 2, a 5-time winner in 6 starts. She's my second choice. For third, number 9, Coco Chanel for Brad Kelly's Calumet Farm. Charlie LaPresti trains Gerardo Corrales up top. This one has some back class. She's earned almost $200,000 in her career. She's only won 2 races, but she's always on the board, and she's running some serious stake events, including the Cardinal, the Indiana General Assembly, the Mint Julep, where she's just beat only 3 lengths in that graded stake event. So she's always there knocking at the door. She just seems to always find a way to get beat. She's either parked out wide, or she's bouncing off the rail, or she's stumbling at the start. But if she ever gets lucky and has a clean trip, Coco Chanel puts it all together, she can run. And she's 6-1 in behind that Go Nunny Go, who I think will be a heavy favorite. Onward to race number 8. It's the 8th and final with that super high 5 carryover, just shy of $500. But it is a conditional claimer for horses who haven't won a race in a full calendar year to go 6 furlongs. There are 4 scratches, 4, 9, 13, 14 are out. I have it narrowed down to 2, and possibly could go a single with the 10. But number 10, Stormy Pacific from the Ralph Martinez barn, gets Rafael Hernandez. They've teamed up to win a few hundred races in their career. And this one's owned by the Ralph, Erica, Brody, and Blaine Racing, REBB Racing LLC. And Stormy Pacific is a 6-time winner. He does have 21 seconds, so sometimes this is another one that finds his way to get beat. But he's riding a 2-race win streak. Those are for $4,000 level races. So if you read this condition, this is for 4-year-olds and up, which have not won a race since January 30th, 2019. Well, you say, wait, this horse has won a couple of races. But look in parentheses, you'll see races were entered for 4,000 or less, not considered in eligibility. So those races don't count against Stormy Pacific. So he's racing against horses who haven't even won, and he's riding a 2-race win streak. And I think this one's going to get the pace set up, well drawn to the outside. Stormy Pacific, I think, is a swish for me in the last. Number 12, Stately Oak, is one you can use in behind, and you maybe can add the horse to the ticket if your budget allows it. It was second here with Dela Cruz, gets Malcolm up tonight, a 2-time winner at Turfway, 2-time at the distance. Comes from a decent barn and should show speed to the outside, but I do think there's a little bit of speed in the race. That's why I think Stormy Pacific gets a perfect pace set up. After that, I'm going to go for the other short-priced horse, number 6, Go for Sherry. Kelly Ackerman sends us an out. Rodney Prescott gets a return call. It's another one that can show speed, and another one that has won those $4,000 condition races that doesn't count against him. Now, Go for Sherry's a 4-year-old son of Flat Out, and he's one that I think he's better suited if he comes from off the pace. He has one on the lead, but I think in this race they'll have to change tactics if they want to try to beat Stormy Pacific. In the nightcap, it's 10, 12, 6 for me. 13 minutes for race number 1. The horses are in the paddock. They'll be out on the track in just a few minutes. Race number 1 kicks off that 50-cent pick 5, just 15% takeout. Good luck.